Kedoshim tihiyu ki kadosh ani Hashem Elokechem. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. Of the 613 commandments in the Torah, it has always been one of the most curious. God is holy, that makes sense. But how am I supposed to be holy? What does that mean? If you asked me how to keep Shabbat, I could tell you. If you asked me if I know any Jews who keep Shabbat, I know many. If you asked me how to keep kosher, I can tell you. If you asked me if I know any Jews who keep kosher, I would say that I know many. But if you asked me how to be holy, and if I knew any Jews who were holy, that's a tougher question to ask, isn't it? Holiness is a vague and broad concept. Rabbinic tradition is actually filled with debate and commentary to try and define it. Rashi says that it means one must abstain from immoral behavior. Ramban says that it means one should restrain oneself from indulging in permissible pleasures. Now, I am not one to argue with the great Rashi or the great Ramban, but if they argue with each other and have such different understandings of this commandment, well, maybe I can submit my own. You see, for all the truth inherent in their interpretations, I think they miss one of the important hints that the Torah offers, which may serve to clarify what the Torah means when it commands us to be holy. So what do I mean by hint? Well, sometimes a particular word or phrase appears with an unusually high degree of frequency in the Torah. And that is the Torah's way of inviting us to look more closely. And I think that's the case here in chapter 19 of Sefer Vayikra. There is a word that appears in different forms, but with abnormally high frequency. And that word is panim. Panim is a special word in Hebrew. It means face, but it has no singular form, so it could mean face or faces. The word is actually all over the Siddur, but it's often disguised. Lefanecha comes from the same root, as in Modeh ani lefanecha, the prayer upon waking. I am grateful before you, O God, for restoring me to life. The first words we're supposed to say each morning. We translate lefanecha as before you, but it actually means before your face. Another version of the word, the Hebrew to turn, is lefanot. It actually means to turn your face. Now, everywhere you look in chapter 19, this section of the Torah that deals with holiness, you will find a mitzvah involving the panim, the face. Al tifnu el ha'elilim. Don't turn your face to other gods. Lifnei iver lo titen michshol. Don't place a stumbling block before the face of a blind person. Lo tehader pnei gadol. Don't favor the rich when you face them in court. Al tifnu el ha'avot ve'el ha'idonim. Don't turn your faces to ghosts and magic. This is the section of the Torah that's supposed to teach us what it means to be holy. And it also seems strangely obsessed with people's faces. And that obsession continues in the one verse that doesn't tell us where we should not turn our faces, but in fact where we should turn them. Mipnei seva takum. When you see the face of an elderly person, you rise. V'hadarta pnei zakein. Show honor to the face of the aged. If you follow the clues in this passage, I think the Torah is subtly telling us what it means to be holy. And it doesn't mean don't be immoral, with apologies to Rashi, and it doesn't mean don't be a glutton, with apologies to Ramban. Holiness is not something you find on a mountain or a cave or even in the synagogue. Holiness is all about the way we relate to others. Panim el panim, face to face. A society that faces some people more than others, that is not a holy society. A person who humbles herself before some, but not before others, that is not a holy person. The foundation of this whole call to holiness is the insistence of the Torah that all the faces of humanity, be they men or women, young or old, rich or poor, abled or disabled, are all equal. Or another way of saying that, when we treat every face as equal, that is holiness. And by the way, we do that most effectively by humbling ourselves before others. The late Rabbi Jonathan Sacks once wrote, "Humility doesn't mean undervaluing yourself. It means valuing other people." That's why we rise before an elder. Humility doesn't mean undervaluing yourself. It means valuing other people. If we keep this in mind, Kedusha, the commandment to be holy, doesn't become so vague, complex, and unattainable. It's actually something we can achieve each and every day. Wishing you all Shabbat Shalom.